Hey, it's James Fathers Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So when I have a video and I'm talking about how corrupt the system is, I usually still try and give an answer in there. How to combat it, what to do, stuff that you have never done or your attorney has never done, and that's why the system is the way that it is. So if you're not doing the answer or the thing that I'm talking about, then you're part of the problem, because all you're doing is complaining. You're not doing anything. The answer is everybody being a foot soldier in this war on fathers and going in and saying the obvious. Declaring the elephant in the room, talking about what's really going on. You guys go in there and follow the lead of your attorney, or you go in and you make these fake arguments that have nothing to do with anything, and you're hoping that the judge will have mental telepathy and figure out what's really going on in your case, because you're scared to tell them. The guardian litem reported this stuff wrong. The guardian litem is biased. The mother's attorney is making up some bullcrap. The mother's lying and abusing the system like a lot of women do, falsely accusing a man of abuse. I got a packet in my store that talks about how women lie about domestic violence, child abuse, molestation, and rape. And I'm quoting entire bar associations, lawyers, documentaries, Harvard law professors, and judges, and horrific samples of how women will go to the extreme and plant child porn on their husband's phone to set them up to try and get custody. They'll commit a crime of possession of child porn to set the father up. When you point out these actual things that actually happen, then you have some street cred with the judge to say, hey, look, this is bullcrap. If you just go in and say, hey, this is bullcrap, women lie all the time, then you'll just look like a misogynist who say women are never victims of domestic violence. And everybody knows there's domestic violence out there, and they'll just call you a denier, which is just as blasphemous as being like a Holocaust denier or or whatever. So this video that I just did about reunification therapy, it got like 600 views. My TikToks usually get a couple hundred views. So the views got tripled. It looked like people, I don't know what that flag is. I don't know what that flag is in the bottom right corner, whether somebody saves it as a favorite or reposts it. But that got more views than normal, because when you complain about a problem in the system, you get more views. If I got on here like Dad Talk Today, or there's this guy on Instagram, 50/50 Dad, he doesn't even give his own information. All he does, I can't stand this crap. Like when people, I don't mind people going on and showing somebody else's video and commenting on it and having a debate about it. The people who create an Instagram channel or a YouTube channel and all they do, or TikTok, and all they do is show other people's videos, and you get a lot of followers and you're not providing anything yourself. Like on Instagram, there's a guy named 50/50 Dads. I don't know if he's on TikTok. That's all he does, is just show horrific cases that make you enraged in the court system. But does he want to give answers to people? No. He just wants to sit there and whine, cry, piss and moan like every other dad out there. And he's got countless followers. But me, I'm sitting here giving answers. Guys are getting custody without an attorney. Guys are lighting fire under their attorney to get them to get on the offensive and getting 50/50 or increasing their time, or or bullying the mother back and getting them to settle outside of court. So I'm giving answers. So people don't like that, because that takes work. That takes growing some balls. That takes some effort. And you can't sit on your ass and be a little coward and just snivel and cry, whine and piss and moan all the time and hope for somebody else to do it. Just think of all the victimhood we have going on in Western society. Like, especially America. There are people, breaking the law to come to America, and little spoiled brats who are richer than 90% of people in the world. They got a 55-inch TV in their bedroom. They got an iPhone. They got all these accommodations and things, available to them. Starbucks and food at their disposal and all this stuff. And they're sitting there because their lives are so miserable and empty, and they're all in a fake, phony little world of materialistic things. And they haven't done anything or accomplished anything, or they don't like going outside when it's cold and taking the garbage out because it hurts their prissy little feelings to be cold for 15 seconds. Everybody's looking for a victim. I had a guy who, a lot of times I'll use, because it's such a great example, I'll use slavery or Jim Crow laws, or I'll give an example of how the women's suffrage movement, or Asians that were interned in concentration camps during World War II, American citizen Asians. We're all paranoid about Japanese. It's kind of like, when the movie Jaws came out, a bunch of people went out and started killing sharks because of the paranoia of that, right? So this guy got on my page and he said, I'm a black man, I'm offended at you using the slave analogy. Use something else. Get the frick off my page, you sensitive little bitch. Slavery's a what am I doing? Reminding you that slavery existed? How does that make you butthurt? I'm not saying black people are less than human. I'm not siding with slavery. It's a reality. Like, I understand, people don't want to dwell on, like 90% of the time Hollywood makes movies about slavery, and that's all they're glorifying about the black experience, instead of talking about doctors and inventors and intellects and stuff like that. The people who complain about civil rights or BLM and stuff like that, the people who are at the forefront, they don't give a rip. They're just playing along, and they're catering to people and stuff like that. Or they're promoting reasons for us to be divided. That's really what's going on. When the media promotes stuff and they're pushing for, we got to do something against this racist candidate. We got to do something against this racist case where, the cops killed this guy and stuff like that. If they really cared about that, they would go back to Amadou Diallo. They would go back to Khalif Browder, and they would destroy the lives of the people who killed them. But those guys are still walking free. So everybody who talks about that is full of crap. So some guy gets on my page because I use the slave analogy, which is a mindset and the most modern, familiar, what does he want me to do? There's a million cases of slavery all across the world in the history of mankind. Everybody had slaves worldwide throughout the history of mankind. Native Americans had slaves. Free blacks enslaved other blacks in America, if you want to get down to it. So, but the most familiar slavery that we're familiar with, I have to paint a picture to people. Jesus talked to people, the followers, in parables. Sometimes I got to give people a tangible example to get them to understand that they got a slave mentality. You don't want to get off the plantation of the family court system. You don't want to get off the plantation of comfort and ease, where things were cool in your marriage until the mother said, surprise, mother effer, I've been setting you up to take everything you got. And because she's been punking you and you've been henpecked or you've been whipped, now you got to actually stand up to the person that was manipulating you. You don't like that. It's a slavery mentality. I'm chained to the mother and her will. And her, it's amazing how guys don't know anything about the law, but then they say they're an expert at the law, saying if I take my kid, that will be something against the law. If you're so paranoid about breaking the law, acting like the father of your own kid, how come you're not paranoid about anything else? Acting like a brother or a sister or an uncle or, Anyway, I got off on a tangent, but are you seeing the answers that I got? When I have a video where I'm complaining about the system, are you looking also for the answer? Or are you just getting your rocks off saying, oh yeah, James is complaining too? Come on. What the hell are you doing on my page if you're not looking for answers? This isn't a page where I'm just going to rant about the system. Yeah, I'll rant. And I'll especially rant if I'm exposing a particular judge or guardian ad litem or lawyer and putting them on blast, or putting their business out there, or doxing them, or whatever they call it. I guess not doxing. That's when you show somebody's address so people can go get them. Not doing that. But there's always something that can be done. And I guarantee you guys anybody who's complained about the system or made a comment, James, go get him, James. Get what? My complaint isn't the main point of my videos. What I'm saying is, on the reunification therapy, I'm giving people answers of what they can argue in court. And people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Are you going to apply it in court and get off your ass and go to court or not? Because if you're not, what are you even doing on my page? My page is to get you equipped to turn around and go back into the battlefield. It's not for you to sit here and whine on the sideline and wait for some Martin Luther King to come and rescue men from the family court system. You're the soldier. Take